Kris Kristofferson, dead at the age of 88. Hey, I'm Michael Douglas. Welcome to this edition of Dr. Pundit, where we talk about music, not medicine. And a special RIP here. Kris Kristofferson, the vibrant, trailblazing country music hitmaker who wowed audiences all through his career with his acting chops, his songwriting chops, his performance chops, has died at 88. Let's get into it. The star was surrounded by his family, but no cause of death was given. Just 1 month before his death, the Golden Globe winner put his ranch on Northern California's Mendocino coast on the market for over $17 million. He announced his retirement in a 2021 statement issued by his management, revealing that he had slowly stepped back from the spotlight. Kris Kristofferson was known best on the pop charts for his 1972 hit, Why Me, and his version of Me and Bobby McGee, a hit recorded by Janis Joplin shortly before her death 2 years earlier. Kristofferson once said his songs come from the soul, and he described his songwriting ability as a gift. Now, of course, he was just as successful on the big screen. He played vampire hunter Abraham Whistler in the 1998 horror film Blade, and the love interest of Ellen Burstyn's character in the hit and critically reviewed 1974 drama Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, directed by Martin Scorsese. Kristofferson was born on June 22, 1936 in Brownsville, Texas, where he found a passion for his music at a young age. And he recalled hearing country and norteño music in songs of Mexico and southern Texas on radio stations as he was growing up. I think it was the strongest influence on my life, Kristofferson admitted during a 2018 appearance on a New Orleans public radio station. I spent about 11 years down there, my first 11, and the border music, the Mexican music, it was just heart music. And the country music was just the same. I always felt that it was the Rio Grande Valley that got the music going in my brain. When Kristofferson was just 11, he wrote his first song, I Hate Your Ugly Face. He later said it was the closest he felt comfortable to writing a love song at the time. Kristofferson moved around quite a bit as a child, since his father was an Army Air Corps officer. His family eventually made a home in San Mateo, California, a suburb of San Francisco, when he was just a teen. After graduating high school in 1954, Kristofferson departed for Pomona College in Claremont, where he played football. And when he was just 18, he was published in the Atlantic Monthly after he won first prize in a short story contest held by the magazine, and the two compositions were entitled Gone Are the Days and The Rock. Now, shortly after that age, he focused on writing, learning from philosopher Dr. Frederick Sontag, who encouraged him to apply for a Rhodes Scholarship. He studied literature at the University of Oxford in England, graduating in 1960, and then returned to California. He married his high school sweetheart, Fran Beer, that same year. They divorced in 1969. Kristofferson served in the military, beginning his service in 1960. He trained as a helicopter pilot at Fort Rucker in Alabama, and later served in West Germany with their 8th Infantry. But even while in Germany, he continued to write songs, performing in a band with his fellow soldiers. After he returned from Germany, he was even offered a spot to teach literature at West Point, but declined after he learned he would have to write up lesson plans, a feat that actually scared him. In 1965, he moved to Nashville, where he resigned from the Army and vowed to make it in the industry, and boy, did he. He worked as a janitor at night at Columbia Studios, giving him more time to return to his craft in the off time as a songwriter. He hit a turning point in his career in 1969 when Johnny Cash recorded his song, Sunday Morning Comin' Down, which won the 1970 Country Music Association's Song of the Year trophy. His career continued to take off as he wrote for fellow legends like Cash, Ray Price, and Waylon Jennings, scoring a Grammy Award in 1972 for his work on Help Me Make It Through the Night, which was recorded by Sammy Smith. Before her death in 1970, he briefly dated Janis Joplin. as they were introduced through their mutual friend and folk singer, Bobby Neuwirth. They played a show together in New York and then traveled a little bit back to her home in California, which ended up being a 3-week-long trip. In 1976, he hit a stride in his acting career, starring as John Norman Howard, a failing rock star in the third iteration of A Star is Born. Kristofferson played opposite Barbra Streisand, who was his love interest, Esther Hoffman. Their performance became the third highest grossing film of 1976. And while other reviews of the film were generally mixed, and it was generally disliked by critics, the piece did win a Golden Globe for Best Motion Picture in 1977, earning Kristofferson his first award in film. Now, I first learned about him in earnest in 1985 when he formed the country supergroup Highwaymen with Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, and Willie Nelson, which proved to be legendary. As the group, the three released 3 studio albums, 1985's Highwayman, 1990's Highwayman 2, and The Road Goes On Forever from 1995. Even as the musical group disbanded, they remained close friends, with Nelson and Kristofferson still playing music together every so often after the deaths of Waylon Jennings in 2002 and Cash in 2003. It goes without saying that over the course of his career, Kristofferson received many awards and accolades. He was honored with a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in 2014 and a Johnny Mercer Award in the Songwriters Hall of Fame in 2006. He was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame in 2004. And in 2016, Kristofferson was diagnosed with Lyme disease after doctors told him for many years that he had either Alzheimer's dementia or another type of dementia. He suffered from debilitating memory loss, something he detailed in an interview with Rolling Stone in 2016. After weeks of treatment for Lyme disease, his wife said that all of a sudden he was back, even though there remained both good days and bad days for Kristofferson. And it was also during that same interview when Kristofferson admitted that he had no anxiety about controlling his own life. Somehow I just slipped into it and it's worked. It's not up to me or you. I feel very lucky that life's lasted so long because I've done so many things that could have knocked me out of it. But somehow I just always have the feeling that he, meaning a higher power, knows what he's doing. It's been good so far and it'll probably continue to be. Kristofferson always said that he wanted the first 3 lines of Leonard Cohen's song, Bird on a Wire, on his tombstone. Like a bird on a wire, like a drunk in a midnight choir, I have tried in my way to be free. In 1973, he married singer Rita Coolidge, divorcing 7 years later in 1980. He is survived by his wife, Lisa Myers, 66, whom he wed in 1983. Truly an everman of so many talents, acting, writing music, a true everyman in every sense of the word. Kris Kristofferson, a true artist. He will be missed. And the subject of another Rest in Peace episode here on Dr. Pundit. I'm Michael Douglas, and if you like what you see here, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe. And as the late great Barry White always used to say, let the music play, and I'll see you on the next episode.